Have you ever wondered why people gravitate toward you, sometimes without even understanding why? It's not always about your looks, your confidence, or even your personality. There's something deeper at play, an invisible pull operating beneath the surface of your interactions. What if I told you that people are drawn to you not because of who you are, but because of what you awaken in them? Today, we'll explore the profound psychological mechanics behind this phenomenon, drawing from the insights of Carl Jung, attachment theory, and modern depth psychology. By the end of this video, you'll understand why people connect with you in ways that feel magnetic, mysterious, and at times overwhelming. And you'll realize that many of your relationships have never really been about you, but about the emotional resonance you stir in the souls of others. Let's begin. At first glance, we assume people are attracted to us because of tangible qualities, our energy, our kindness, or the way we carry ourselves. But Jung believed something else was happening. He proposed that every interaction is filtered through the lens of projection. Each person you meet holds within them a psychic image, fragments of their own personality that have been buried, disowned, or forgotten. And when you unknowingly resemble one of those fragments, something inside them stirs. You're not just a person anymore. You've become a mirror. They're not reacting to you, they're reacting to the version of themselves that they see in you. This is why sometimes people feel an instant connection. It's not logic, it's recognition, emotional resonance, a psychological homecoming. Here lies the first reason people are drawn to you. You represent the part of themselves they've lost. Maybe it's their boldness, long buried beneath years of fear. Maybe it's their vulnerability, hidden beneath a hardened exterior. Maybe it's a sense of wonder they haven't felt since childhood. You awaken something they forgot existed. Let's say someone has spent their life being logical, composed, and controlled. Then they meet you, spontaneous, expressive, emotionally raw. Suddenly, they feel alive, but they mistake that aliveness for love, when really it's about the part of themselves you've helped them rediscover. You didn't cause the emotion. You unlocked it. And when people aren't aware of this, they might cling to you, not out of affection, but out of unconscious need. You become their missing link, their emotional shortcut to wholeness. But here's the twist. That kind of attraction rarely lasts, because as soon as your real self begins to show, as soon as you're no longer their emotional mirror, the illusion breaks, and with it, the connection often fades. There's a second, even deeper force behind why people fall for you. You resemble the inner fantasy they've carried for years. Carl Jung described this through the concepts of the anima and animus, archetypal images of the ideal feminine and masculine energy that reside in every psyche. These aren't conscious preferences or personality types, they're inherited blueprints. Emotional ideals formed through early relationships, especially with caregivers, and shaped by culture, story, and collective myth. And one day someone sees you, and something inside them says, there they are. Not because you're their soulmate, but because you fit the silhouette of a symbol they've long been carrying. It's not love, it's recognition of a pattern. This is why they might say, it just feels right, or I feel like I've known you forever. But you haven't lived in their dreams. Their fantasy has. The danger? When someone falls in love with a fantasy, the real you becomes a threat. The moment you step outside the script, disappointment begins. What once felt divine becomes flawed. What once felt destined now feels disillusioning. Because no human can permanently fulfill an unconscious ideal. When projection fades, confusion begins. You may have done nothing wrong. You were simply being yourself. But the version of you they fell for was never real. It was an internal story playing out on your face. And when people realize that the love they felt was rooted in their own needs, not yours, they either grow from it or walk away. This is the painful part, but it's also the beginning of clarity, because here's the deeper truth Jung pointed to. Love isn't random. It's an instrument of transformation. Every person we attract, or are attracted to, has something to teach us. They're a messenger, a reflection, sometimes a trigger, always a mirror. They awaken what's asleep in us. When someone is drawn to you, they might not realize that you've stepped into their life as part of a greater psychological process. And when you fall for someone, the same is true. You don't just fall in love with them. You fall in love with the possibility of who you could become through that relationship. That's why love hurts. Not because it's broken, but because it's trying to break you open into wholeness. It forces you to face the parts of yourself you've ignored and brings them to the surface disguised as infatuation. That's why certain people shake you, why certain relationships seem impossible to forget, because they weren't just people. They were catalysts, invitations, psychological earthquakes. And that's why awareness is everything. When you understand what's being projected by you or onto you, you stop mistaking emotion for truth. You stop confusing chemistry with compatibility. You begin to love more consciously. So why are people drawn to you? Because you're not just a person. You are a symbol. You represent something they've forgotten. You awaken an internal figure they've carried. You stir feelings that have nothing to do with you and everything to do with who they are becoming. And this isn't just about romance. It applies to friendships, obsessions, even enemies. Because all connection is transformation in disguise. But here's the twist. Once you see this dynamic clearly, you can stop being the mirror for other people's unfinished business. And you can stop chasing people who only reflect your missing pieces. You become whole, grounded, free, not because you've found the right person, but because you've reclaimed the parts of yourself you were trying to find in others. And that is what makes you truly magnetic. If this video stirred something in you, an insight, a memory, or a realization, leave a comment below and tell us what resonated most. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep, thought-provoking explorations of the inner world, identity, and the psychology of human connection. You are not just here to be loved, you are here to wake yourself up through love. See you in the next video.